Hello, everyone. This is a big day for me. So when I started my floorball platform X Progress, one side goal of mine was always to get some kind of defensive playbook out there because I know the interest is high, and I did a thing for Innebandy magazine a couple of years ago that got a lot of attention when I just did small short summaries of defensive systems. But yeah, this evolved. So it went from me thinking from the beginning that I might do like a PDF with some drawings and just be content with that. But after my platform got a better reception than I kind of imagined it would have, I decided to take it up a couple of levels. So now I've done an online course about the defensive system 221, or actually every like the known variations of the 221. So everything that has some kind of box between a steering forward is included in that online course. And you can do it in your own tempo. You buy the online course, and then you can stream the material wherever and whenever you want to through the Gumroad app that you can download. But you can also access the content without the app if you feel like. And then there's a video presentation there, like 12 minutes, where I go through the basics. There's a PDF summary if you just like to read a couple of pages. And then the main core of the thing is over 30 minutes of commented and drawn game film, where I draw on game film and talk to explain the system. How to defend zone entries, how to defend in your own zone, how to counterattack, how to defend free shots, and also, like I said, all the known variations of the system. So this is out now, and I wanted to give you guys just a little teaser how it looks. So you get to see part of the video presentation here, you get to see part of the commented game film. So yeah, have fun, and then below in the description are the things you need to know, the links to my platform, how to get it. All right, so take care, guys. Bye.
Let's start here with the main concept of the 2-to-1 system and the variations of it. So um, I'd say per definition, the ones that are included in this online course are where there's a box in front of the net, so to speak, and then there's one forward or steering player, or whatever you want to call it, up top who is working. So that is kind of the way I would define the 2-to-1 variations, meaning that there are several systems that some people might consider a 2-to-1 system, like the M system, where players are lined up like an M or a W. That would, for me, would be in the 2-1-2 online course that will be coming later down the road, because of the fact that it doesn't per definition have a box plus one. So that's kind of how I wanted to define it. And the idea here behind this box plus one, or the 2-to-1, like from a history perspective, when almost all teams played the 2-1-2, you could think about it like this forward being a center instead and standing here, and then the opponents more often than not would be able to dominate this area of the court and then hit quality passes from here, and it would be tough for the 2-1-2 to get a grip of this. So that's kind of how it started. Then someone pushed up a steering player instead here to like physically almost take away this space where a playmaker would be, to try to dominate play, and then also incorporating this box that works like sideways, but in different ways, because we'll look at the more passive and more positional sound ones, and then the more aggressive ones that are more there to like stop entries and stuff like that. So there are for sure different approaches to this. So the positions used in this system, I would go for left defender, right defender, left midfielder, right midfielder, and forward. I think that makes the most sense, the way the 2-to-1 system is built up. But you will definitely run across people saying that this is a right winger, this is a left winger, this is a center, and then that's a left D and the right D. And that comes from the evolvement of the 2-1-2, where like people would send up the right winger like this, and then they'd take the center out to the left, and then the left winger had to go down a little bit. That's kind of what it comes from, but I still think it's more correct to go D, midfield, forward. So that's what I'm going to use.
So now let us look at zone entry defense, meaning the opponents have the ball and they want to enter our zone. So, of course, our first line of defense from a north-south perspective is the forward. So we need to talk a little bit about the starting point of the forward. And the big thing here, I think, is covering the central playmaker square. I like to call it like that. So a common question then is, how high can the forward actually go? And this playmaker square, I normally tell my players that this is kind of what we're looking at. And then I normally tell the forward that he or she can go as high as they want to, as long as they can prevent an opposing player to stand in this square and dominate play. So if they have a day with a lot of energy, or they feel that they have an advantage mentally against the opposing defenseman or something like that, then I don't see a problem with them going high. Of course, if they get overplayed like 3 times in a row and they can create something out of it, then I might pull the player back a little bit. But there are also good things about this. It can stress the opponents, and some players are of course built to do this. We see Manuel Maurer here, for an example, against top opposition. Of course, some of the best players in Finland here, where he just steals the ball and then creates a high danger chance out of nothing just by roaming around on himself. So I don't think it should be totally overseen. There are some advantages to this. Or here, quarterfinal in the WFC in Zurich, where Maurer just goes on his own and creates a turnover and then scores a goal, very important goal on that. So it for sure can be used. But like I said, I think this is a good clip to show it again. Like, you have to make sure that you cover your base. So here, Jan Zaug gets semi-run past by Linus Holmgren. And once again, like I said, so this is the area he needs to defend. So he needs to do his best here, fishing with a stick here. He's really good with his active stick, so he manages to steal the ball. So I think that is the thing that has to decide. Some players can go higher, some can go lower. Then it's, of course, coaching a little bit, like what you prefer. But I don't think you should be that scared of having one player going a little bit, at least depending on the opponent. Another thing that matters a lot, of course, when defending zone entries is if the opponent is playing with 2 players wide, or if they have more of a point player standing in the middle trying to dominate the play. So it changes the routes of especially the forward, but also the midfielders a little bit. So here, for example, you see Jan Zaug with this asymmetrical from the right approach again. You see 2 Czech players in the build-up, and when this ball gets played and they're standing wide like they do here, that is, I think, the perfect invitation to like step up a little bit and try to kind of take away this pass between the 2 players, and then, dividing the court in 2. So if you can move like this, kind of coming a little bit from the above, like I have mentioned before, like 80% of the time you're approaching a left shooter here, meaning that the angles won't be great for this player when moving forward, and so you can straight away just decrease the size of the court by kind of splitting it in 2. And if you win the ball with the midfielders, then you have a great chance, of course, at counterattacking. But more about counterattacks later. Here we see this point setup where there's instead a single player here and then helpers maybe to the left and the right, which normally is the case. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but normally it is. So then there's a little bit of another approach, I think. So I kind of want, so once again, this 80% of the time will be a lefty. So if you push towards the blade side of this player and kind of make a little bit of a stop here, that helps, I think, for the team, because then you know that most of the passes from here will come in this direction. And when these passes come. I know this pass doesn't hit the blade of the other Czech player here, but it doesn't really matter. Let's assume it does. I still want my midfielders to be active then towards this player, because we know a little bounce can happen or whatever. Just come out there, be aggressive on this player. But the point setup makes it a little bit different. So let's just pretend that they'd play this pass. Yeah, then this midfielder would attack this player. So it changes the routes a little bit of the players. So you want to stop here, you want to attack this player. So it's a totally different setup than the 2 players wide. Of course, very important too that when this player goes, this one covers the middle.